This is a picture of various forms of our present alphabet in capitals and lowercase. Now, people say it's a bigger job to learn 40 letters. We already require, if a child has to learn lowercase and capitals, he has to learn 39 letters now to read.
Script.
And plus script and all of the other variant forms of our language. But that's what we have now. This, if my fingers will. There is Unifon. Let me point out a few things. As you can see, all we've done is steal a lot of letters from Greek and the Cyrillic. The delta now becomes our long A. The lambda of Greek and Cyrillic becomes our A as in all. C had no real use because K and S could do most of its job, so I crossed it and turned it into a CH. The long E, we showed two E's back to back and crossed it, which is our what we call a long E. The reversed E is the E in her. It's really an unaccented vowel before R's. That's its principal use. We came down to I had the bit and the bite. Two forms of I's, and you can see we've done relatively little with them. You can see what we did with the O. All of the long sounds have a prominent baseline, the 8, the bite, the old, and the U. That's the mnemonic device we've added.
What about the second N, John?
The second N is the NG sound, which now has to be represented. It's ing. As in sing. It really is only a single sound, but we don't have a letter for it, so we have to use N and G. Now, we save a letter there. This is the out, as some of my teachers say. It's what happens when a child sits on a pin. And the other is the oi, and somebody said that indicates that it truly is a boy. The sure is the crossed S sign. I've taken two variant forms of TH, which are a little like the way the Anglo-Saxons used what they called a thorn and an edda. Those were the two added sounds that King Alfred added. The long U, or a diphthongal U over here, is really a YU, but I've kept it in there because people say it's the long U. The real long U, as in do, is the second sign there. There is an English, a French sound, the je, which we simply reversed to a Z in. And we crossed the Z to indicate that it was truly a Z, and it's the way many Europeans write the Z anyway.
Which letter represents which? WH?
Which, HW. It's HW. And the visible speech analysis shows that to be really two separate phonemes. A phoneme is a closely related bundle of sounds. My first alphabet that we had worked with for the Shaw Foundation, and I appended his name to it. How generous I was. That was the first alphabet that we tried, and we did make a couple dozen typewriters, and which were in turn used for producing our first little line of books, the Peppermint Press. I made a judgment that we really didn't need the lowercase, but we could just make a small caps set. And so my 5 by 7 matrix became a 5 by 5 matrix for the lowercase. In this first set, I had made a number of mistakes, which I've marked with little X's. You probably can't see them there. We were trying to get the Russians to go along with us for the American Standards and the International Standards Association meetings. We had 2 meetings, and they were absolutely, they wouldn't even consider modifying their own spellings. This will spell Russian as well as it will English, German, and French, Spanish, Portuguese, and most of the European languages without any violence. So that's the initial alphabet. We did get the International Standards Organization to cross the 0 for the 0, so I had to move that out, and that is now on this number set with a /0, so you don't mistake it for an O.
The idea to eliminate script altogether and have the children only learn print?
No, you can make a modified set. We've made a modified script of this. It's not very much different from an ordinary script. But in most cases, if we try to teach children with keyboards, as we are early, the script is going to be, I think, unfortunately, an unnecessary requirement for children.
Why do we need lowercase or uppercase?
I don't really know. Although lowercase reads a lot faster because of ascenders and descenders. When you pack this tightly, the ascenders and descenders and the changes in width of characters seems to make it better for sight reading. We found that if we teach a child Unifon, which takes 7 or 8 hours, he finds, because there's almost an 80% overlap in the similarity between the spellings here with Unifon and the regular spelling, there are enough keys so that he can get into other words very quickly. And since, fortunately or unfortunately, TV commercials and comics are all written in capitals, the distance, the visual psychological distance between the Unifon and the regular alphabet is so small that the kids transfer without even realizing they're doing it, because it is so similar. There is, in terms of frequency overall, an enormous coincidence between the spellings with Unifon and the other, enough so that it's no big thing. But as long as we have to exist in a world of 2 alphabets, this idea of using this as a shoehorn to get into print quickly and rationally is a snap. We've had Montessori schools adopt this to label the furniture and other parts of their classroom with this, and they've done rather well. The only trouble is that these kids learn to read so early. They're a troublemaker in schools if they go into transfer into public schools or into another community where there isn't a Unifon. So it's an all or none situation. It's like having clear water in one area and fouled water in another area. It's a terrible problem. So the whole country has to be changed at once. That's why I say that this change possibility lies within our day and time and life, perhaps.
Is punctuation, I would think
No
that
change.
you would need capitalization to indicate the beginning, unless the punctuation
Well, if you use
is
capitals and
sufficient.
lowercase, you use capitals and small caps, as we do now. We have a lot of caps. We have a lot of small caps and capital letters in writing that way.